Of course, due to the continued effects of COVID, we are convening a public hearing via WebEx and teleconference. We're holding this public hearing pursuant to the provisions of the charter, county code, and the zoning regulations. I'll now read the rules of the procedures for the public hearing. Since this is a virtual public hearing, anyone wishing to speak should have registered online using the speaker registration form, council virtual session, hearing web page prior to the hearing. The link to this page is in the yellow alert box on the council's website. Each registered speaker will be permitted to speak up to 3 minutes. Mr. Secretary, are there any speakers this evening?
Mr. Chairman, I think there's one speaker. The only thing I would add to your remarks is we also have to convene the hearing pursuant to the county code to hear comments related to Bill 4021, which is the property tax bill. And we also are required to convene the hearing pursuant to the Maryland annotated code regarding the constant yield tax rate. And that is an ad that we are required by the state to put in the newspaper, which we have done. And if anyone wants to review the constant yield tax rate advertisement or the budget, the proposed budget, they are on available for inspection. And then the county and there's one speaker. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what, I'll take it from the top. No ad lib. We're holding the public hearing pursuant to the provisions of 708 of the county charter to hear public comments on the proposed county budget for fiscal year 2022. The budget is available for inspection on the Office of Budget and Finance and the county's website. The public hearing is also being held pursuant to section 11-1-102 of the county code in order to hear comments with respect to Bill 40-21 to levy and impose the property tax for the taxable year beginning July 1, 2020, and to fix the rate of county taxation for such taxable year at $1.10 on each $100 of assessed valuation. Finally, the hearing is also being held pursuant to the provisions of section 6-308 of the tax property article of the Maryland annotated code regarding the constant yield tax rate. A copy of the constant yield tax rate advertisement is available for review. The county budget and the county property tax rate are tentatively scheduled for adoption at 10 a.m. on Thursday, May the 27th. I already read the rules for everybody who wished to participate. And on this note, I would say, Mr. Secretary, are there any speakers this evening?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I believe, again, we have one speaker, and I think Ms. Del Castro can find that individual, hopefully.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Our one registered speaker for this evening's hearing is Mr. Bill Adams. Mr. Adams?
Hey, I'm here. Thank you. So I was trying to speak to the county council to talk about the budget and specifically the Baltimore County Public School budget. I think you all know that BCPS confirmed they were down 4,000 students, and that was in September of 2020. I hope you all have seen the Maryland State Department of Education second term performance metrics. They do a report for all the school districts in the state. And that report showed that Baltimore County's attendance rate is 80%. So it means about 22,000 kids are not going to school right now at BCPS. It also showed the failure rate doubled. And they're comparing the metrics from the 2019-2020 school year to this year, the 2020-2021 school year. So the attendance is tanking right now using BCPS's own numbers. Enrollment is down to FY16 numbers at about 111,000. It's below FY16 numbers. When the school year convenes again and they do the enrollment survey again, which they only do one time per year, I'm not sure why, I think it'll probably be down to FY10 numbers and that's losing at least 10,000 kids. My 3 kids will be 3 of those 10,000, and 4,000 have already left. So I don't know how it makes sense to increase the budget when attendance is going down. To me, lower enrollment means less teachers, less administrators, less expenses, not more. I think it would be interesting to do a survey or to dig up the FY 2010 budget adjusted for inflation, see what that is and compare it to this one. So for those reasons, and mostly the decreased enrollment, I'm asking you all to reject the Baltimore County school budget. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Adams. And we certainly appreciate your comments. Not every day we get people who have children in the system saying reduce the budget. Are any questions or comments by any of the members? All right, thank you again, Mr. Adams, for your comments. And I want to thank everybody for participating in this public hearing. And there's no additional comments by any of the members or no additional speakers. I'm going to bring this hearing to an end.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Councilman Katz.
I just want to make sure. So the constant yield tax rate, that advertisement was in the paper, correct?
Yes, it was, Mr. Katz.
What about the announcement of the public hearing on the budget? Was that advertised as well in the paper?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And Councilman Tatch, it has also been posted on our yellow box of our website since last week, an announcement instructing the person to use the link above to get to the meeting information. So, but the actual announcement has been posted on our yellow box on our homepage for about a week.
The reason I asked is I'm very disturbed at the few number of people that came to testify, one person, but you know, we will give it our best and analyze it. The part of the budget that the constituent commented about, the education budget, is probably the most difficult part of the budget because it is not specific at all. Only has a number of categories like administration and a lump sum of money that we either approve or cut toward administration, and it has under it the, you know, on what purposes the money can be spent. But it doesn't say like superintendent's salary, so much money, etc. It's just a lump sum of money. We can reduce it, but we have no say over how that lump sum of money is spent. And I just think the public needs to know that. The public needs to know that we have no, once this passes, we have no input whatsoever on how it's spent. We have no ability to audit, to see, to make sure that it is being spent in the proper way, that everything is going the way it should be. So I was hoping that we would have some people who would participate in this meeting and comment on the budget, especially the education part of it. And as far as attendance goes, I, of course, would have no way of knowing if the number of students in the system are going to go down to fiscal year 10. I mean, that seems to be, I mean, that's rather high to have, to go back 11 years. But so we have our work cut out for us. And, you know, we need to try to gain some kind of say over how this money is spent because to be perfectly honest with you, it's very, very frustrating to get calls, inquiries from constituents and not be able to answer their questions because it's very difficult to get answers out of the school system. So I just wanted to make that comment. I wanted to make sure that we had this meeting today advertised properly, the constant yield tax rate advertised properly. And so hopefully in the future, we'll be able to advertise and put more emphasis on having people participate in these public meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Patch. And I can tell you that I certainly advertised it on my social media, as well as a reminder today. And we certainly sent it out on our email blast throughout the community. And a reminder was sent out today. So when people don't testify, normally that means that they are pretty satisfied, or at least they, maybe they got the message and they're happy with the direction. Councilman, we will go with Councilman Crandall and then you, Councilman Martin.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Councilman Catch, I've received the same type of emails that you do and the same type of correspondence that you do, and I'm in agreement that there's something inherently incorrect in the system that we have, in that we don't have access to data, even though we are the fiduciary for BCPS. And I think that our opportunity to speak up for our constituents wasn't necessarily tonight. I think it's when BCPS comes before us to defend and protect their budget. And I think it's also important for those who might be watching now or later, is we're mandated by state law to increase spending towards BCPS every year through maintenance of effort statutes that exist in state law. So we can only go so far, but there's so many questions that our constituents have, and I agree with you that we should be asking those questions when the time comes. And I'll also say that I have full confidence in our staff that the budget hearing and the opportunity to speak was publicized, but you and I were elected in the same year and took office in the same year, right? What is the record? Can anybody remember what the record is for constituents to speak at our public budget hearing that's mandated by the county charter?
Well, let me just add one thing.
Maybe three.
Let us not forget that once upon a time, this was the only opportunity for people to speak.
Well, and Mr. Chair, that's my next step, is that this administration
changed the law.
Conducted.
Yeah, we changed the law to require the county executive to go out and have budget meetings throughout Baltimore County, one in each district. We passed that law prior to this county executive coming into office. So people have many opportunities to have their say, and this is sort of like the icing on the cake, because most people have already made their points known, I do believe, or at least they certainly had an opportunity. Go ahead, Councilman Crandall. I apologize.
No, sir. You said exactly what I was prepared to say. So thank you.
Sure.
Chairman?
March, yes.
Yeah, I don't have much to add, except that I have a community advisory council and sent the reminder out to all my community leaders. Mr. Chairman, I saw your post earlier today. If people continue to have concerns or suggestions, they can always email them in. I also am surprised by the attendance.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just add one thing, I would, in an answer to Mr. Crandall's comment, there was a time years, many, probably 15 or 20 years ago, and Ms. Belcastro probably remembers, where our chamber would be filled pretty good with people who wanted to testify and did. When I arrived in 2011, and the members that also arrived in 2011 can attest, probably for the first 4 or 5 years, we would only get a few people that would testify. And then probably in maybe in 2016 or 2017, it really started to hit a higher number in the chamber. And then last year, and when things like the tax bill from 2019 was introduced, you had a pretty good full house for that one. So I think it kind of ebbs and flows. I don't have any scientific answer other than, it just ebbs and flows. Certainly people are aware of it because of social media and the advertisements we put out. And people know that, the month of May is the county's budget season and, things heat up. So I don't think it's a lack of notice. I think it just happens, for lack of a better way to express it. Thank you.
Yes, if I should chime in, I have been here long enough to see quite a few budget processes. And at one time, the crowds were so large that we didn't even have the hearing in the chambers. The hearing was held at Lock Raven High School. And of course, that was before email and other means of communication. So I think technology has also dwindled the numbers down a bit because there are other ways people can reach out besides showing up in person. So just wanted to add that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I must admit, I was shocked that only one person came to this meeting. I can tell you that the public is very frustrated in regard to the school system and the lack of communication, etc. I just hope that this isn't a sign of people thinking, well, it's not going to do any good for us to say anything because we're not going to change anything at all by making comments at this public meeting. Because I can assure you that each member of the county council, that when people come in and testify and have specific suggestions, whether it be on the budget or a bill, it's paid attention to. And please don't be frustrated. We look very seriously at all of your comments, and please keep that in mind in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Katz. Any additional questions or comments? All right, thank you, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Bill Adams, for your participation. We certainly appreciate it very much. And we thank everybody for their suggestions and comments, and we'll always continue to work hard to be as transparent as we can and give the citizens as many opportunities as we can so that they can, in fact, participate. And they're certainly welcome to send emails to each and every one of us or call our office if they somehow missed this hearing and still would like to provide input. And I do believe all our budget hearings will be public as well. So everybody have yourself a good night. Thank you very much.
Chris, would you stay online so I can